Day 5 of the Live Your Purpose Challenge. I'm just going to take a moment to get everything set up correctly on Facebook. I think, crossing fingers, I figured out how to do it now. Okay, so here we go. Yep, I'm all set up. I'm going to go live a couple minutes early. I think we're good to go. So if you missed my intro, hi. It is day 5 of the Live Your Purpose Challenge. Congratulations. We made it to day 5. Even if you have missed some of the days, don't worry, you are in the right place. I'm just going to do one check to make sure that it really is going into the Facebook group. And yes, it is. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to turn off my phone so I don't get distracted because I'm easily distracted. All right. So if you are here live or watching the replay, please say hi in the comments. Let me know that you're here today. And the theme for today is your next steps. I just realized I am not using my usual little prop here. I got so caught up in making sure the technology is right. Let me get a little closer to you. All right. So today is helping you to see how far you've come, giving us a little bit of a review, going deeper into the material that we've already covered in the challenge. So like I said, even if you haven't made it every single day or you need to catch up, you are still in the right place here today, because in this review, we are going to, cover everything that you might need a catch up on. And certainly the replay page is available for those of you that are registered for the free challenge until next Friday, June 20th. Okay. So what have we covered in these 5 days together? The concepts that I have been sharing about are things that you can dive in so much deeper. We've really just scratched the surface today. On the VIP call yesterday, one of the ladies who is already signed up for Authentic and Aligned said, wow, if this is just the preview, I can't imagine what Authentic and Aligned is like. And some other people who have actually completed the program were nodding their heads like, it is incredibly transformational. And I'm not taking credit for creating this material. I'm passing on to you tools that I've learned through the Way Showers College. But what I did was I saw all these bits and pieces that I'd learned at various different retreats and various different private sessions over the years. And I pulled it together into a step-by-step sequence and flow. And that's what I'm good at. I'm not necessarily great at creating new concepts. I have a little bit in my life, but for the most part, it's taking what's already there and really enhancing it and sharing it with you. Because this information is really needed right now. We need to know, what is our niche? What is our purpose? Why are we here? I also need to pull up the comments. Shoot, I may need to actually end the stream to see it. Darn it. Chat. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. I see it now. All right. So if you're here, please say hi in the comments. Let me know that you can hear me okay and that it's streaming into the Facebook group this time. I think it is. All righty. Okay. All right. So what we covered, first of all, is where are you now and where do you want to be? So we need to take a look at what are the areas where I do feel really fulfilled and what are the areas where I don't. Many of you, this could be the very first time that you've looked at what brings you fulfillment. looking inside, looking within for your answers is something that many of us were not taught to do. We're taught to look outside of ourselves for validation, for instructions about what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And so by doing this exercise of actually looking within to see what is bringing me fulfillment, that is now getting your answers on a soul level. And so if there are some areas of your life that are really, really great, keep it up, right? Have gratitude for that. And if there are areas that are feeling like a lot of fear or worry or doubt or anxiety, that's the thing that needs to be addressed. And probably the reason for that, those so-called negative feelings, is that there's a limiting belief getting in the way. So as I've been working with the VIP clients in our deeper calls each day, they've brought to me the area of challenge, and I've been able to share with them, okay, here's the limiting belief that you're buying into that's creating all that challenge. Not to say that everything is within our control. I don't believe that, right? The environment has its influence. However, what I feel and choose is up to me, right? And is up to you. So that can be shifted to see new possibilities and new perspectives. So if there is an area of your life, or just kind of generally in your life, you're feeling kind of stuck, that is your soul saying, okay, something's off. This is not in alignment with what I came to do, and I need to course correct. I need to shift. Then we looked at, what does true purpose mean? What is mission and purpose all about? Okay. Sorry, guys, this technology is throwing me for a loop a little bit because I just realized that those of you that are in the group, I may not be able to see your comments. So I may try to turn on my phone and just check it, which is going to be not great, but let's see. I'm going to turn the volume down so I don't hear myself. And okay, cool. Yeah, so I see there's 4 people that I don't see on this. Oh, well, c'est la vie, I guess. Okay, so truth about purpose and mission. What is that deeper reason why you're here? And then what is your niche, that place where you fit? When most people say they're looking for their life purpose, they're actually really seeking their niche in life. And it's that place where you feel joy, where you feel fulfillment, where you feel, excited about what you're involved in. But your purpose is not that. Your purpose is like this underlying thing that you're here to accomplish. And you can't pin it down to any one job or career or opportunity. All of that is just a means to an end. Your purpose is this underlying calling that you have. And when we looked at the definition of purpose, we talked about how a psychic can't tell it to you in a reading. And so what we do in Authentic and Aligned is we have a series of questions and exercises, and we work with partners to slowly but surely tease it out of you what that mission is all about. We also talked in the challenge about your unique vibration. And this is something that people don't realize is even important, right? We want to jump to, what career am I supposed to be doing? So this is your expression of what you're here to do. It is your uniqueness, your personality, your skills, your gifts. And then we talked about the niche formula. really realizing that before you look out there to make the changes, you need to spend some time looking within to know who you are on that authentic soul level. And if you haven't watched yesterday's video yet, check it out. I played a section of Courtney Turner's testimonial video that she did with me, where she talked about piece by piece knowing herself on that soul level in a way that she never did before. And that is really the first, so it's a 90-day program. And we spend about the first half of that piece by piece, giving you the pieces of the puzzle to understand and know yourself on that authentic soul level. So that when you have that self-understanding, you can then go out and know what opportunities or jobs or vocations actually are a good match for you. You can't change who you are and what you came to do. It's innate. But the opportunities out there in the material world are always shifting and changing, right? So instead of feeling like a square peg in a round hole, trying to fit yourself into an opportunity that actually doesn't really work for you, instead of that, you can find the opportunity that's a match. And then you're the square peg in the square hole. Everything is seamless and it fits. That's what you will experience in Authentic and Aligned. And it's in a step-by-step process, right? And that's one of my gifts, is being able to put something together in a step-by-step way so that by the end of it, you look back and you say, I don't even know who I was 12 weeks ago, right? So here's the questions for today. Based on what you've learned in this challenge, what has shifted for you? What do you have more clarity on? So please comment if you're able to. I'm realizing that I may not be able to see all of your comments, but I may check my phone to see if I see it on there. And I will also come back later and respond. So please share, even if I don't acknowledge your comment right away, okay? I'll share with you, though, some examples, because the people in the small VIP group that I'm working with in a deeper way, you know, I've seen some of these shifts happen. So I won't share their names, but one of the ladies really shifted her point of view about where clients could come from for her. You know, she had a concept that she lives in the Bible Belt, and many of you probably can relate. Nobody's interested in this around here, right? But that's actually a belief. Is it actually true? You don't know, right? And it probably actually isn't. And in my experience, having lived in an area like that for many years, it's not true. There's spiritual people everywhere. So what if you could replace that with a new belief, right? Because she does healing work, by the way. So she's looking for spiritually aware people for clients. One of the ladies who is retired but was looking for new opportunities and more abundance, she started to see that the ways that she'd been blocking herself, and she also lives in a very rural area. So that was another limiting belief that she had. But now she suddenly just had this breakthrough of resistance. And on our call yesterday, she was sharing all the things she could do. I can go to the library. I can contact this person, you know. And so all these opportunities suddenly became available to her because she got clear on that what was missing from living in her niche was being face to face with people and just sharing. And then she started to see all these opportunities that have been around her all the time. She just couldn't see it because of the limiting beliefs, right? And I'm sure that this could be true for you and your version of that story. Sometimes we think we're limited, and if we just shift a little bit, you can become aware of so much more abundance and opportunities that are right there for you. And sometimes we just need a little bit of mentoring on this process, because the tricky thing about these limiting beliefs is that they're subconscious. We don't even know we have them. So that's why being in a mentoring group like Authentic and Aligned can be so valuable, because I have decades of experience, and this is my, skill and gift, is that empathy. I can see where you're blocked, and I never do it in an overwhelming way, just in a step-by-step way. Right? Giving you that awareness of how you can shift. And then the other cool thing in the group is that you're in a group of amazing like-minded people. And periodically through the group sessions, you'll go into breakout rooms and share with each other and learn from each other as well. Never telling anybody else what to do, but just sharing. I'll share my perspective and you share yours. And then we learn from each other in a really non-judgmental way. Okay. And so what do you have more clarity on now? And what is your next step to fulfilling your purpose? So for probably most of you watching, it's going to be filling in the gaps from that spiritual piece, right? We want to have a balance, 50% spiritual, 50% material. The way that most of us are raised is that material is all important. Intellect is all important. So we need to balance that out with getting in touch with your true feelings, understanding your intuition and yourself as a soul, having a connection with your spirit guides, and understanding yourself on that spiritual, authentic soul level. If the material things of life are getting your attention, I totally understand. However, really the solutions lie in first going within and then going without, right? Outside of you. If you just go out there, it's like a hamster wheel all the time because you're out of alignment. So I'm going to teach you how to do this in Authentic and Aligned. We're also going to talk about your flow of energy and how to actually come from within with everything that you do so you can be balanced. A lot of people, this is something that I realized a few years back, is that it's really essential to be in balance with your intuition if you want to live your unique life purpose. If you're too much in your intellect and you're analyzing and dissecting everything, that puts a block in your way. In order to really be in alignment, you need to be in flow. And so I'm going to teach you how to do that in Authentic and Aligned. Okay, so let me just check. Or maybe I can check it on my laptop too. No, I'm going to do it on my phone. Just see if anybody has been making any other comments. Every time I open my phone, it stops. Okay. So Michaela had said, totally recommend Authentic and Aligned. I felt like it really helped me understand who I am and what I need in order to be my best self and in flow with living a life that is true to me. Yeah, thanks, Michaela. If anyone else here has been through the program, please comment. And if anybody is here and wants to say hi, please do, because I can check it here. Technology, eh? So much fun. Yeah, and so most people who sign up for Authentic and Aligned, life is good. I mean, it's not terribly bad. And at the same time, they're feeling anxious, they're feeling lost, right? And it's so easy to get sidetracked from our purpose and what we came to do because of the pressures and influences of our society and the people around us and even our loved ones, right? Because people are programmed to do things in a certain way. And so they might tell you that you're wrong for trusting your own intuition and doing something out of the box, right? So it's also building that trust in your intuition and being able to check with your own guidance if you're on the right track. Okay, so what I wanted to do is just share a little bit more about some of the pieces of how you will, the things that you'll learn about yourself in Authentic and Aligned. And I just noted down some examples from the amazing men and women who've been through the program before. This is the 5th time that I've offered this group, and I continue to do it once or twice a year because I know how transformational it is. And so the great thing is that there's now lots of examples and testimonials from people who've been through the program. So one of the things you're going to learn is your spiritual thrust. This was, I think, day 3, right? Your unique vibration. You're going to learn the words that encapsulate this kind of intangible energy that is your uniqueness. So that's the very first private session that you do. So just so you have the bigger picture, we do 6 private sessions together over a series of several weeks. I always space those out by at least 2 weeks so that you have time to assimilate it before going on to the next thing. Otherwise, you get too filled up, right? And then we have our 12 weeks of group sessions. And by the way, if timing and scheduling is a concern for you, I always make sure that we accommodate everybody's schedules. Even if I had to split the group in two and do it in 2 different times, that's not ideal. But please don't let that be a reason. If you are really drawn to this, then we'll figure out the scheduling, okay? So I wanted to share the example from my client, Heather. She lives in Western Australia, and her thrust is light, free, and flowing. So when we started work together, because again, this is the first private session that you do, she told me that at that time, she was feeling really stressed, overwhelmed, burnt out, right? Some of you might relate to feeling that way. She was really busy with 2 children who are, not the easy breezy kind of kids, right? Some kids have personalities where they're just always kind of pushing your buttons, very loud, very outgoing, very busy. That's what she was dealing with as an introvert, right? Everyone else in her family is extroverted and she's an introvert. And then she also had a husband who's just very busy, very entrepreneurial, very driven, also very supportive, which she's really grateful for. But at that time, she was just kind of swept up in his business and helping him. And so when I told her that her thrust is light, free, and flowing, which by the way, I just channel from her guides, right? She said, wow, the only time I ever feel that way is when I go to dance class, right? And that was maybe an hour a week, if she made it, right? Sometimes she couldn't make it because her kids were sick and all that life stuff. And so, but that was her pivot point. And she said, so she started to bring more creativity into her life, more art stuff, more creating, more movement, more music in the house. And over time, she started to realize how that actually translates to her next business, her career, what she's doing now. And you can watch the full video of hers on the Authentic and Aligned page. I'll put the link in the comments there. But the learning of her thrust was really the beginning of that self-awareness of how it can actually come into her life. Because if you're not living your thrust, you're just going to feel really burnt out and dissatisfied. And for the majority of the time, she wasn't living her thrust, right? So she even, she still was raising her kids, but now she's seeing ways where she can live her thrust in that, instead of society's kind of version that she got stuck in, like always doing things for everybody else and, being the good mother rather than light, free, and flowing in her that opportunity. Okay. I also wanted to share one of my clients, Lee. Her thrust is free to create and be. And when we talked, she is in a corporate job, but on the side, she's creating jewelry. And so what we identified is she'd always started to be able to live that thrust of free to create and be in the jewelry business. And that's where she felt happy, but she simply didn't have enough time to, make it really successful. She's only doing it in the little snippets of time and on the weekend. So she's starting to be able to transition into doing something like that more, where she's living that thrust of free to create and be. So another thing you're going to learn in Authentic and Aligned is your policies. And this is a really interesting concept that, if you're not familiar with it, can take a little while to understand, to be honest. But you have your thrust, your policies, and in Authentic and Aligned, you learn your first 3 policies and how they flow together. That's the energy that sustains you. It's like the core value, the energy that you need to come from within. If you get out of balance and you're not even living from your first policy, that's those times when you feel really off, right? And it's like even feeling depressed, not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. And hey, I have felt that way at times, right? So my first policy is strength. So if I'm not feeling that inner strength, I'm kind of off. Not kind of, I am. So some examples from different people who've been through the program. Michaela, I think you were here. I pulled out your name. I hope you don't mind. So I know that your first policy was effective. And tell me, Michaela, if this is correct, if your second one was creative, because I hadn't made a note of that, but I think I remember that. But what we were regrouping was being effective first is actually really key. She's very creative. She's an amazing artist. I saw an amazing painting from her on Facebook the other day. Incredible. But actually, her first policy is to be effective, and that really gets some clarity for her. Another client, Erin, has the same policy as I do, strength. And she's dealing with a child who has a very severe illness and, things along the lines of epilepsy, but I don't want to share all the details because I don't even understand it myself. It's quite a rare condition, and it's a lot of energy output on her part to be a carer for her son. But it's really fascinating that her first policy is strength because she needs it, to get through those experiences. And I helped her to see, okay, when you're not living in strength, you're not in a place where you can be of service to your son. So how can we have some strategies to bring you back to that when you need it? Another thing you're going to learn, I call your niche personality. This is where your strengths are in working with people and working with opportunities. So this is another one. So this is why you really need to just go sign up for the program and go deeper with it. Some of the concepts take a while to click because nobody out there is talking about this stuff. That's why this information is so valuable. But the example I had here was my client, Kristen. So one of her personalities, you might say, for lack of a better word, is builder. So there's 3 in the area of opportunities, which is spearhead, builder, and consolidator. So if you're a builder, you actually like to, spearheads are kind of the ones that initiate and open up the energy. And builders kind of come on after and help the spearhead improve things, right? That's ideal when you're working with a team. And the other one is consolidator. But because Kristen was a builder, it gave her a lot of clarity as to why, previously she had a life coaching business and she just got really burnt out trying to build that up and got to a point where she decided to let it go. And she still had a lot of regret about that, or maybe beating herself up. Why can't I do it when other people can? And I helped her to realize that really entrepreneurship in that way is much better suited to people that are spearheads. I'm a spearhead, by the way, right? I'm good at initiating and creating new things. I'm not always good at some of the other areas because that's not my strength. But so for Kristen as a builder, she was able to forgive herself for that. She realized that she was putting herself in the place of a spearhead when she's a builder. And so now through other areas of Authentic and Aligned, you can watch her video on the sign up page as well. She's actually come to realize that her niche, right, the opportunity that fits for her now is to be what's called a death doula. And in a nutshell, that's somebody that really helps people in that place of transition. And she's very contented now with the fact that she works in a nonprofit to, bring in the income to pay, her expenses as we need to do in life. And then the death doula is more of that passion, that purpose. And she's good with having that both. So for some of you, you may be in the place like Kristen is, thinking, oh my gosh, I need to start a business, but then beating yourself up for never doing it. And there could be other ways, right? We get stuck in seeing something a certain way and think we have to do it that way too. A common one I see with spiritual people is they think they need to be Reiki healers, like everybody's a Reiki healer. That's one possibility, and it's a great one if it's aligned for you. But there's so much more available, right? And so understanding yourself and how you work will go, okay, I can now do this opportunity with ease and excitement and purpose rather than this feeling of hitting my head against a brick wall, right? Why isn't this working? And another area is actually your first gift. And this is something that you would learn in the Gifts and Guidance orientation profile. Some of you watching may have had that one. And if you haven't, it's a prerequisite for Authentic and Aligned, but I'm giving you that as a free bonus when you enroll in the program. So one of the things you learn in there is There's 4 spiritual gifts: intuition, vision, prophecy, and feeling. And you learn which one of those is your primary. And this is also a piece of that authentic self. So people with the first gift of feeling, I didn't give specific people examples on this one. I just was like, okay, anybody that's a feeler, you probably relate to this, is that feelers have a tendency to absorb and pick up everybody else's energy. And when they understand that sensitivity, they can learn how to work with it, have more discernment. People that are visionaries, right? So they think in pictures. They need to have a clear vision of what they're involved in, so that they can feel secure with what you're doing. So again, as you can start to see, all of these different pieces, right, makes up your uniqueness. And once people have been through all the private sessions that reveal this to them and the group sessions where we go even deeper into it, then they're starting to get that clarity of going, okay, now I see this about myself. I feel, I understand. I can now start to look out there and go, oh, like with Kristen with the death doula, and Heather doing chakra dance. Like Heather says in her video too, she never would have recognized that that was an opportunity for her if she hadn't done the inner work. So you start to land on what fits for you. And many of you watching right now, you know, you can't even imagine what that would be yet, right? Until you take those steps to go into your spiritual understanding. So what I encourage you to do, if this is resonating with you and you feel like you could really benefit from understanding your authentic soul self, the first step I would recommend is to sign up for a free Find Your Niche session. Okay, so I had 10 spots available. A few of them have gone now. I think I have maybe 5 or 6 left. So I'm going to put the link where you're just going to fill out a form to apply for a spot. Hopefully the comments are coming through. I dropped my phone on the floor, so I'm just going to pick it up and see if anyone else has been commenting in the Facebook group. 1 second. Oh, yeah, cool. Michaela, your second one was creative. Yeah. So it was interesting for Michaela, going back to the policy, effective and then creative. One would think that for an artist, creative would be her first policy, but actually it's her second policy. So the first is to really be effective with that. Okay, so there's these nuances that you start to learn about yourself. So this is the free Find Your Niche session. I'm going to chat with you a little bit about where you're at with things. Are you feeling out of alignment in certain ways? Sometimes it's like we feel stuck and we just don't even know why. But in that 15 minutes, I can start giving you some clarity about what that stuckness is, where you maybe need to go from here. And then we'll chat about Authentic and Aligned. I can answer all of your questions and give you an idea of what that experience is like, you know, because everybody's kind of coming from a different place. We're all unique. And everybody has kind of different questions or concerns or things that they want to know about the program. So I really like to connect with you first. And I think that that's really important, right? There's a lot of people, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but there's people online these days who are not as good as they say they are. And so I want you to really feel confident about working with me in your journey. That's really important to you. Okay, so I also encourage you, if you're considering being a part of this group, to check out the sign-up page, which I'm going to put the link in here right now, communicatewithangels.com/authentic and aligned. Because check out the testimonial videos on the page. I'll give you a snapshot now of some of them, but it's, you know, that's why I like to share the stories of others, because then it's not just me saying this is great, but it's, you're really hearing it authentically from them, right? And a video, you can know it's really coming out of their mouth, not just me deciding to make something up and put it on a page. I hate to say those things, but, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there now. So I pretty much already shared about Heather and Kristen, but finding that place where they fit and the opportunity, the business that was right for them. Courtney and Cara, who's not on the page, but I was reminded of her because it was a very similar result that she got. But Courtney's video, she's sharing about getting out of that Groundhog's Day feeling. She was in a job, but it was like, I'm just showing up every day, going through the motions. Is this really my life? Right? I know many of you can probably relate to that. So she was able to really see how to align her next. She was applying for jobs, but kind of not sure what she wanted in that area either. And after going through Authentic and Aligned, she had clarity on the kind of jobs she applied for. Sarah Smith, when I met her, she was scared because she had quit her well-paying job to start a business, and she kind of did that on faith and didn't know what she was doing. So I admire and respect that. But what she gained from Authentic and Aligned was actually that she could trust her intuition to really follow the path of alignment for her and what she offered in her business, which was really incredible. She's now running a 6-figure business. So such a transformation. Kay was sharing about how she manifested a relationship. And I just actually spoke with her this week for the first time in quite a while. And she's really living in this place of ease and joy and abundance now. And before she was really stressed. So you just get to this place of spiritual and material alignment, right? How would it be for you to feel that deeper self-understanding, to feel peace and joy and harmony each day, and to release the fear, worry, and anxiety? Okay, so one of the private sessions we do in Authentic and Aligned as well is blockage discovery profile. It's going to help you to pull out the biggest block, the biggest fear that you really picked up from somebody else in our childhood, right? We just gets passed on and passed on and passed on from generation to generation until somebody can, okay, hey, this isn't working for me, and make a change. So that can be really a foundational piece of the program too, is just realizing the ways that you may have been holding yourself back so you can move forward with more joy and positivity. Screen share, yeah. So I'll just quickly show you the sign up page and what it looks like. Okay. So I haven't put a whole lot of long information on this page because really, I think the best thing that you can do is watch my video explaining it. You get the kind of the facts here, the benefits that you're going to receive. All the private sessions that are included, and lots of testimonial videos from people who have been through the program. Okay, and some of the people I just mentioned. So check it out. If you were to do just the private sessions alone, the value would be $1,200. But really the full program, including that bonus, remember you get my Communicate with Angels course for free, is only a little more than that. And if you do the full pay, you're going to save $100. Whoops, I've lost it now. Scrolling. Oh, there it is. For the first time, I've really decided to offer some extended payment plans. I may not do that again, but it was something that really felt in alignment right now. So you can spread it out to 6 months or spread it out to 9 months. So hopefully that makes it really accessible to you. And now is the time. I probably won't do this program for another year. And I'm not kidding about that. So get in while you can, okay? Let me know if you have any questions. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know if you have any questions. Again, the next step I recommend is to just chat with me, right, on that 15-minute session. I don't pressure you, but I do just give you, the answers to your questions that you need. Thank you so much for being a part of this challenge. It has been really a joy to share with you. And I can't wait to meet you in the next steps. Have a chat with me for those Find Your Niche sessions. The recordings are going to be on the replay page and from a week from today. If you're in the VIP, you'll get the recordings for as long as you would like them. They're a lifetime. All right, so you have the links. Check it out, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.